YouTubes, how's it going? I'm just gonna go over the objectives real quick here before I get interrupted by I think it's Eric the Red. Maybe it's just a generic berserk. But okay, for this scenario, Vinlandsaga, it's the second Battles of the Conquerors scenario that I'm going to be acting upon, and for this one, it's another easy one. It's the second in the chronological order, so it's on the easier end for sure. What we have to do is get Eric the Red, who is one of our berserks. He is in the sprite of the berserk, and we need to get him to the New World, which is like Newfoundland, I believe, something like that. In real life, it's all the way on the other western side of the screen, and we have to get there. There's some Skraelings. They're called the Skraelings. They have militia and wood raiders there, so, and a lonely hermit. So we're gonna have to kill them, then just build a town center there. So all I'm looking at is getting enough resources where I can avoid the Sea of Worms, which is in the middle of the map. Avoid the Sea of Worms. Just run across Greenland real quickly. Head over to the New World, plop down my castle with murder holes, and plop down my town center, and the scenario will be complete for me. So what I'm looking at doing right now is building up my economy, not doing too much else in part one, just explaining to you what's going on. I'm going to be reaching my population limit here, which is 15, but I'm not looking at building any more houses right now. And we'll just get going on. I'll just ramble on when things come to my mind. We can only go to the castle age, which is not a big deal though. We don't need anything further than that. Your resources in Norway, you're currently in Norway, will run out very quickly. You have no gold on your map. Some people, if you like to play the drone out way of this scenario, will go over to Britain, which is right here, which is a very lowly enemy. And they have a couple markets you can destroy. One will don like 1100 gold. Another one will give you like 800, I believe, 600 or 800 in between there. So if you want to get gold from there, you can, but they have no gold mines. Only Greenland does. There's 2 gold mines in Greenland, so that's your only resource, only mineral access to gold. You can trade with defeated Britons. If they have, I don't know if they have a dock remaining or not, and you can definitely trade with Greenland if you do defeat them. But I don't really know why you'd want to trade for more gold if both your enemies are gone. So, and there is a huge Sea of Worms. If you type in Marco on your cheat screen, you see this huge dragon. They did an awesome job. Ensemble Studios did. I believe her name's Karen Sparks, and making the Sea of Worms is just, it looks awesome. And basically, if you send any ship there, it will get eaten by the worms. Alright, so I'm not going to go over that stuff. Right away, I'm going to pump out as many villagers as I can.
It's been a hard winter, and the wolves are hungry. We must protect our villages from their packs.
Alright, so it's just a generic Viking, which is strange, considering I am the Vikings, but that's not my name, so whatever. Alright, and what we're going to be doing, alright, we get some rabid wolves, or just normal wolves. And there's a random scout here as well on this. You're on Norway, which doesn't make sense. So we're gonna have to take some of these guys out along the way. You're going to run into Ornlu the wolf at some point, and that guy is deadly. He's very powerful, so just be aware of him. He can take down one of your villagers in one fell swoop, even ones with loom, I believe. Alright, so we're gonna have to take out this other wolf. I'm basically scouting with this berserk. You can scout with Eric the Red. I believe they have the same speed. But Eric the Red obviously self-heals, so do berserks. And the nice thing about the Vikings is I figure I'd educate you a little bit on the Vikings, since we don't get to use them in a traditional campaign, just this one scenario, is that the Vikings have a 10%, alright, I'll just show it to you. Excuse me. A 10% hit point increase in the feudal age, 15 castle, 20% imperial age. It's not cumulative, unfortunately, though. So, wheelbarrow and handcart are also free, which is great, and warships cost 20% less. And then other thing is the dock is 25% more economical. I believe it's, is it, can't remember. Is it like 113 wood or something like that? I think it might be that cheap. But anyways, there's a baseline number of food and wood that I'm looking at getting. That baseline is, I think, 1,651 wood and 1,850 food. And then for stone, you're going to need an additional, and these are additional to what you begin with. And you're also going to need an additional, let me calculate this in my head, 875 in stone as well, because you're going to be making murder holes for your castle over on the New World, and you're going to be getting a watchtower to defend against some of the the Greenland longships that come and try to stunt your movement across what I believe is the Atlantic Ocean. So, with that being said, and I want to bring up something else. What am I going at? Oh, it's slipping my mind. Oh yeah, I believe Greenland does assault at the 30-minute mark, and I've actually never played this scenario long enough to the point where Britain has a chance to assault you. I believe they don't. I believe they don't do so, but I don't even know if they have a dock, to be honest with you. I never even interact with Britain. I'll check that off screen possibly. So in this part though, I'm just going to be scouting around, taking care of my crap, and you want to get as many villages as you can up to your population limit, and just start getting get a lot of them going at the deer that you have around you. You have, I believe, 16 deer on this island, maybe 20. They're always in packs of 4, which makes it pretty difficult for you to, find a good place to put your mill down. And you don't want to be wasting a lot of the wood. Norway doesn't even have a lot of wood, which is, depressing. You don't have a lot of access to food. You don't have a lot of access to wood. So, with that being said, try to be economical with where you're putting your mills down. Understand that a mill is 100 wood. That's not going to take a long time to accumulate, but when racing against Greenland, before they get a major assault going with Viking longships, it helps out a little bit in the end. And 100 wood is essentially another transport ship, so if you for some reason lose a transport ship along the way, you have 100 wood stored away for yourself to pump one out right there. So just keep that in mind, and ignore that green dot on the map. That's just one of the scout cavalry. So just keep scouting out with this berserk, get a good idea of what's on your map, find where the deer are, because even when you're not in the presence of the deer at the current time, at the secondary shroud has gone back over it, you can still see their location, so it does help. Alright, so we got all these idle villagers. We can try to find another deer. Alright, there are some over there, so we're going to send these guys over there. And hopefully this is just a wolf. And the berserk will regenerate. You see right there, 36, up from 35, which is awesome. But I'm not a huge fan of berserks. They don't even have the psychological advantage like they are said to have in real life, because this is a video game, so the purpose of them is dwindling because this is not reality. And another really very strange thing is that you'll get attacked from deer at some point in this scenario. Yes, deer, I know. At some point in this scenario, so just be aware of that. They usually go for this outpost. They look a little bit smaller than the traditional deer that you will see throughout the game that you can hunt, and they're a little bit quicker, I think. So it's just a strange thing thrown into this game. Alright, so when we can, I'm going to build a couple. I should be able to go to the feudal age in terms of acquiring enough buildings, and I don't want to set that rally point there. Acquiring enough buildings, you need 2 Dark Age buildings, obviously, so just get the resource producers. Forget the barracks. You're not going to need a barracks in this scenario because you're not going to be producing an infantry of your own, and that's more expensive in terms of wood than going for like a mill, which is 100 wood. Excuse me, microphone fall over. So there's no need for you to waste 75 wood on something you're not going to use. So I'm going to just keep having a chop, because once I get up to 500 for food, I'm just going to jump right into the Dark Age. That will allow me to get wheelbarrow, I believe. So that'll be free for me. And more wolves. How dandy is that? But you can just chill here on Norway for a while, even though, you know, times are depressing. It's been a hard winter. You might want to get out, get to a nice warm place. And here are the deer that I am talking about. Very strange looking. They look like antelope. They kind of look like the Age of Empires 1 deer, because they get bigger when you kill them. And look they did 1 hit point to my outpost. What is that? These deer have fangs? Strange stuff. That's what a map of the Sea of Worms will do to you, though. And Greenland, for all I know. I mean, Greenland's just awesome. I don't really like the shade of green they use for the title of Greenland, because when I think of Greenland, I think they want it to be synonymous with the color of green, though. But when I think of Greenland, I think of a darker green, like the forest green, like you'd see with pine trees or something like that. Well, that's all the game has to offer, so I'm not gonna nitpick it too much. And these guys should be able to carry, what's their max? 35 food. So you should be able to get all the deer that you possibly can before having to go back to the town center or a mill, before you have to waste any of the rotting deer. Alright, so the Dark Age is over. The Feudal Age will be coming up now. Once you get to the Feudal Age, by all means, you can send a watchtower over to right here. You want to build your dock in this little inlet right there, or in this inlet, and have your watchtower be out here. But ideally, you're going to get attacked from this side, not this side. This side, if you build your dock in here, so you want to be able to isolate that with the watchtower. Otherwise, if you build your dock here, you might get attacked from both sides, and your watchtower will become obsolete if you get hit from that one side. So about 12 minutes in now, just waiting for the Feudal Age to come. And make sure you don't have any idle villagers. That is the worst thing you can do in this scenario. And take this scenario with a grain of salt. I mean, I have a strategy guide for this game that I like to read from time to time. It is useless, though, other than maybe throwing a couple of interesting facts about each scenario. It's useless for strategy. You know why? Because it doesn't tell you the quickest way to complete a scenario. It tells you the traditional way that they want you to play. They want you to think that you have to go through Greenland, that you have to take out Greenland with your own, units, whatever, your berserks, your long ships like a traditional Viking raid would entail. But you don't have to do any of that. Same with tour, like I showed you. Alright, so we got more of these freaking weird deer. Alright, so make sure all these guys get to plop off the meat they're carrying. Okay, so good. Alright, so we have 8 there. Alright, what we can do is just continue to get some of the deer. You can send one of your villagers to build a watchtower over here if you'd like to. And obviously, you're not going to need to spend any gold. So you need 200 gold to get the castle age. Just keep the gold. Don't expend any of that gold. And keep Eric the Red the furthest. The closest to this outpost is Ornlu. Will come over here. Ornlu does 50 for every bite, 50 hit points for every bite, so Eric the Red will probably die before Ornlu will. And what was I getting at? They want you to go through Greenland, do the traditional Viking assault. You don't need to do any of that. You don't need to even mess with the British. You don't need to see them on the map, because if you think that I can take the British out down here and then just cut across to the Skraelings, no, you can't, because the Sea of Worms blocks you. The Sea of Worms doesn't block you if you take this very southern tip of Greenland. You just walk across it, build another dock, come across this, take out all that the Skraelings have on their new world, and you got the scenario. No problemo. So just to take care of it, I'm going to build a blacksmith. I'm going to get my 2 castle age buildings out of the way. The reason I'm going with the blacksmith, not because I'm going to be researching any of its upgrades, is because it is considered a feudal age building, and it's the cheapest of the feudal age buildings. So I'm going to be using this guy, and then I'll probably build a market in case I need to sell anything for any other resource later on in an emergency. So the market and the blacksmith are your 2 economical and most economical and most resourceful options to take in terms of castle age buildings. Just keep hunting the deer. That's all the options you have right now.
Hear that howl?
Alright, so
That one's the king of the wolves. He can take down an army of our Norsemen.
Alright, so Ornlu is somewhere around the corner. You can take him out easily by bringing your villagers Ideally, alright, so he's gonna go for this outpost right now. Try to get as many hits in as you can. Run away, run away. Try to get as many hits in with you as you can on him. He will regenerate as well, so even though you're thinking, oh, I did a good job, I got a couple hits in Ornlu, it's not going to help you out. So just leave him there. Make sure your villagers aren't venturing anywhere towards him, and you'll be okay. You won't have to worry about him too much then. So once this market's built, we're going to need 400 more food before we get to the castle age. And then following that, the only food we're going to need is for murder holes, which surprisingly takes 200 food out of our pockets. So with Ornlu being there and me not wanting to spend any more on villagers, I'm just going to chop down the trees near the town center, as we have about 5 minutes left. So next part, I'll kind of be in between phases. And how dare you kill that deer? Come on, that's going to be that deer's going to be rotting now. So I'm just going to send another villager over here. No idle villagers, good. And the wood's coming on a little bit slower right now, but that's not a big deal. So let's keep monitoring that. And this will be coming around the mountain. So this is a very easy scenario. It's a weird vibe to it because it's kind of an eerie vibe. I really do like the vibe though. I'm big into that in Age of Empires. The environment of the game is cool. You got the Sea of Worms, obviously, so go check that out for yourself in Greenland. How you can just not love Greenland. Greenland's the bomb. And the British are blue. They're not red, so I'm very thrown off right there, and that's another weird aspect of this scenario. Plus, you got the man-eating deer and the outpost-eating deer. So it looks like that deer's gone for. So we can get the shorefish, get that out of the way. It's probably the closest food source to my town center. And what are you doing over here? But once you get to the point where you're ready to get some transport ships, you can probably kill those 2 berserks. You're only going to need Eric the Red to be remaining for you in terms of military units when you're going across the Atlantic Ocean. So you can just send them into Ornlu, draw them into the town center if you do need to take down Ornlu, that is. And I believe Ornlu was one of the special creations, one of the pet creations of one of the producers, Greg Street. So he's kind of addicted to Ornlu. He tries to get it in every scenario that he can. I read that in my guide. So he is a bomb. He is the bomb. He's the beast. He's a very ravenous, very hungry wolf. That is, we've got jaws of steel. Take one bite out of your villagers and it's gone. Villager is gone. So Eric the Red could kill the scout cavalry, but I don't feel the need to do that. And just keep getting food until you have enough for the murder holes, that is. And then we're gonna have to start to mine some of this stone. And I'm gonna take one of these guys to build that watchtower that I was referring to. And once you have no need for your villagers anymore until you send them across the bay. Let's see if I can. Where's the closest place I can plop it? Alright, so it looks like I'm gonna have to change things up because of the ice. Try to get out as far as I can. That'll be an okay spot, I guess. Try to get my dock in here as close to the shore. I'm gonna have to change up. What was I have to change up? I can't remember. About the watchtower, that was all. So we're just going to be waiting this out, and in the next part, I'll probably be on my way moving across the bay after I produce some of my transport ships. Sometimes I have to get this berserk killed real quick. And that's crazy. One wolf takes on 1 berserk in 2 bites, so that just shows you how beastly Ornlu is. Holy crap! Holy crap! That's not the guy I wanted in the mix here. Get him in there. Holy freaking mother. Alright, well, I lost a villager. Dang. Okay. Anyways, kind of a heart attack ending of a scenario there. And I'm going to end on that note. And I'm going to build my university right now. So I'll see you guys in part 2 of Vinlandsaga.